to the shit show.
It is the All Elite Wrap-Up for October 31st, 2024, Halloween edition. I don't have like a spooky. Yeah, we don't have like, I got the time, which is why you should donate. If you want me to have the time, sit here and make spooky Halloween themes and shit like that, go to allelitewrapup.com. There are two ways to donate. If you got the PayPal, you can donate. If you got the Cash App, you can donate. If you're in Kansas City, we'll meet up. You can slip me a 50. Tom, how are you on this Halloween day?
I'm good. You know, we're recording earlier because we got plans for the night. I have a dog who will attack everyone, so we couldn't really record on this night because it would just be consistent dog barking the entire time. And I've got some plans. This past weekend, did some Halloween partying, dressed up as a bird. My wife dressed up as Randy Johnson, so enjoyed that. We were a hit too. People were like, "Oh, I remember that," because it's old enough to where you're like, you kind of forgot it, but as soon as someone brings it up, you're like, "I know exactly what it is." And so, yeah, pretty good. I was proud of myself.
I like that.
What about you?
We live out here in the hills, as it were, and nobody comes out here. So I was like, well, that's why I think we forgot. You were like, oh yeah, Halloween. And I was like, oh yeah. And my kids are like, they're 18 and 20. They have plans, but it doesn't include me, so the house will be dormant. So I was like, I'm good to go. This is on you.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
Like, we got to move this around. And now, that said, of course, we're happy to accommodate, right? And I understand that this is a holiday, right? Everybody loves to do it. Halloween is a great thing. It's just, I think I'm at that age where it's sort of past us, and I live in an area where nobody is making the trek up this driveway to knock on this door. So I'm here spending it with all of you wrestling fans. And Tom. Tom's a wrestling fan as also. He's included in that group. And we'll remind you that if you are watching us live, if you can catch it at this absurd time that we're doing it at, please join in the chat. Talk to us as we talk about Dynamite and anything else you want to bring up. What's that?
Yeah, it's like we're doing a day baseball game. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
It's kind of fun. It's convenient for us, but is anyone else really made better by this? Not really.
Right, yeah.
But it's fun if you can make it.
Yeah. The sunshine. Right. Yeah. It'd be interesting if we like do this outside picnic style, right? We just bring a little. Right?
That'd be fun.
Do this outside before the weather turns too much. Yeah. So Tom, we're going to talk about Dynamite, but it is Halloween, and I understand we did pull a trick on folks, and we're going to do the show early, so maybe they can't. We didn't pull a trick the way maybe you're thinking. You might be listening to too much hip hop. Listen.
Whoop that trick. Remember Hustle and Flow?
Yes, of course. Yeah. We did do a trick, so I want to give you a treat, right? We're going to talk about Dynamite, and the show might be quick if we don't have folks to talk about it, right? And other things to do. So I went out behind the barn, pulled the tarp off, blew the dust off. You enjoying yourself here?
I just love that fucking sentence.
Yeah.
I went out to the barn.
Yeah. I don't even have a barn. That's the best part of this. So went out behind the barn for, storytelling purposes. Kayfabe, Tom. I pulled the tarp off, fired up the old time machine, Tom, and I think we're going to go back in time. Are you ready for that? A little spontaneous little trip.
Ooh. Big Stoke.
Oh, not with Big Stoke. That'd be cool. Big Stoke could come with us. But what's more likely to happen is that I accidentally hit the wrong trigger, and we're going to go back in time. So, Tom, we talked about this. Folks of our old show, The Spanish Announce Table, know we used to play this game where we would go back 1800s sometimes, talk about some pro wrestling and make you guess some fun stories. And now we're the All Elite Wrap-Up, so hard to do, right? It's only been 5 years, but I think that's enough here, Tom. I'm ready. Take a little trip back in time and see if you can guess what happened on this day. I'm excited about this, Tom. You got your thinking cap on?
I do. Let's do it.
On this day. All right, November 6th, 2019. Okay? Says social media's coming this way.
Yeah,
this
of
way.
course. Mm-hmm.
November 6, 2019, from the granddaddy of them all, the Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, now.
Episode 6 of AEW Dynamite aired. Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone on commentary.
Mm-hmm.
The users of WrestlingData.com have this event ranked 4.8 out of 6 stars.
Okay, that's weird to go 6, but all right.
Yeah, I know. It's a 6-star.
No whole numbers, but okay.
4.8 out of 6.
Okay.
Now, card included matches such as Sean Spears defeating Brandon Cutler. Emi Sakura and Jamie Hayter defeating Rio and Shanna. Is it Shanna? Shauna? Don't know.
Who? I don't know.
Yep.
I'd have to see it.
Yeah. Private Party defeating the Dark Order of Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Remember Stu?
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Stu.
Back in.
Stu.
Came back, then he left. Yeah.
A main event, televised main event at least, of Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara of the Inner Circle defeating the Elite of Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. However, the users of WrestlingData.com have the highest rated match of this card as the opening match, Tom, where Trent, in a near 12-minute battle, submitted to which wrestler?
Okay. So we got to go early in
episode 6.
AEW time frame.
2019.
And so back then you had Chris Jericho and Moxley, because that was the first title feud.
But Jericho's in the tag match in the main event.
I remember when they came here in February, Trent, best friends. Santana and Ortiz would be Pandemic. So
they're up in the they're also in the Inner Circle.
Right. So
involved in that.
Pac?
It's Pac. It's the bastard. It's your guy. That's what yeah.
Because remember, it was Orange Cassidy said he's gonna try, and it was against Pac. That was, I think, his first pay-per-view match.
So this is probably, he's probably Trent. He probably maybe did Chuck Taylor too. Maybe
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Maybe the next episode.
But yeah, that was a fun little trip. Back in time. A little treat, right? To see if Tom's thinking cap was on. All right, we got the wheels turning, right? Lubed up with the KC Beer Co. there. Arrow Red something, right? What is that?
Arrow Red Lager.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lager. It tastes okay.
Which reminds me. Yeah, go ahead.
Small. Cans are so small nowadays. Look at this. Shrinkflation. Assholes.
Shrinkflation, man. Yeah, that reminds me. The beer sponsor of the week this week is Nobody. Because Nobody went onto AllEatWrapup.com and donated us some money and said, hey, we want to be the beer sponsor of the week. Nobody did that. You should do that just like Nobody did this week. Like that?
I do like that one.
I like that commercial. All right. Thanks, Nobody. Favorite listener.
Yeah.
Nobody. Anyway, Tom. All right. So let's get into this, right? We got Dynamite. Storylines are going here, right?
My goodness.
We've got some stuff to talk about. I think there's some, there's still some kind of stuff in tonight's show, or rather it was last night's show, right? That, there's still some stalling maybe. There's still some kind of low points, but I think we've got some major storylines that are happening kind of on the edge.
I thought this was one of the better ones in recent memory. Definitely one of the better ones this year.
Yeah. Okay.
If I were to give it on a scale of 0 to 6, I'd give it in the 5.2 to 5.3. Because I would say,
let me check Wrestling Data while you're talking.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Who knows how quickly they've rated it, but we'll see what it's at.
We'll see. Yeah, give it a go. All right, so here we go. We go last night. It is Fright Night Dynamite. And we have a fun highlight package, which I think they're trying to do more of, where we're getting the EVPs versus the Private Party tag team match, previewed, and then we're talking about the Blackpool Combat Club and Moxley and all these things, and then we go right into that to a promo package, highlight package, again, kind of how we're starting almost every Dynamite with this movie style. What was that one movie with Woody Harrelson And he was like a serial killer or whatever.
Was
like
that Natural Born Killers?
Natural Born Killers. Yeah, it's got a kind of a Natural Born Killers vibe to it of the Blackpool Combat Club. And here they go. They're talking their shit. Claudio is like, you people don't even realize that if it wasn't for John Moxley, none of this would happen. And here's another, and it gets cut off. This Orange Cassidy in all of his dark clothing because he's moody.
Turn it off.
Moody.
Yeah.
He walks down.
Blood Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. No one wants to see this. It's stupid. It's dumb. And he goes on to say, essentially paraphrasing, I didn't want to have to be here. I don't want to be a leader. However, when I was in this ring last week, I saw my friend Chuck Taylor have his neck, crunched up. And I realized that I actually have to step up. Now it is on me to step up because the people that are wanting to take up the fight for AEW are all young. They don't know what Moxley's truly capable of. I do.
And they don't know what it's like if we don't have this, right?
Right. And then, so he goes, I do. Then he goes into they don't understand that, like, we need AEW. John Moxley doesn't need AEW, but people like me, Orange Cassidy, I need AEW. Because if there wasn't AEW, there wouldn't be a me, which is kind of accurate because I don't think WWE would have signed him even up until this day. Nope. And so he says, John Moxley, you piece of shit. I'm challenging you for your world championship so that the power is back in the balance with AEW at Full Gear. I'm kicking your ass. And then he goes, you know what? I'm going to end it this way. I don't need a catchphrase. Not great. Cool. Then, speaking of Orange, well, first off, what did you think? How did you think this promo went? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What's up?
I think part of the uniqueness of the Orange Cassidy character is that he is so monotone, even-keeled because that's the anti-pro wrestling approach, right? Mm-hmm. So now I understand to be a full, well-rounded pro wrestler, we have to flip the script and have him, care and be the good guy and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to stray from the character, right? But guy who suddenly is too cool to care when he suddenly cares isn't just still monotone and talking like this. And that's kind of how the promo came across, right? I don't know if that was choice or that's just kind of his speaking style. I don't know. But so it left me kind of being like, yeah, all right. I feel like that's great that you're standing up, but I feel like you're about to get chewed up, right? Like, I feel like you're going to just not make it through this, guy.
Well, maybe that's potentially, because I do think I agree to your point. Hey, if he's pissed off and feels like he has to be a leader, he might be a little bit more fired up.
Right. Yeah.
But I do
wet the brow a little, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're fucking, a little anxious.
Well, I do believe that I feel like there's going to be another trigger point that takes him to the next level.
Level. Okay.
So I would imagine whatever X is, whatever that thing is, then that is when we go into the, hey, I just started this with the, I'm here for the company, but now you've made this about me. And so now I'm going to kill you. Potentially, maybe that's what it's going for. The way I feel about this promo, and it's not necessarily this promo, but how I feel about the Orange Cassidy character, and I believe I mentioned this last week, is the more we do the Orange Cassidy's a leader or Orange Cassidy cares, we're getting farther and farther away from what got him over, right? Mm-hmm. What got him over is everything you said. Monotone, didn't really care. Whatever. Like I said, in 2019, he's going to try was like a chant that we all did. Well, now we're getting to the point over here where that's no longer what he is anymore. And if he's not this, right, if he's not the genesis point of when we were introduced to him, well, then what the fuck is he? Because if he's just a guy, I don't give a shit about a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I agreed that you could do that, right? You could say now, okay, he was whatever. Then we did, he's gonna try. And he tried. And then he went back to, all right, whatever. And now we're like, no, now you have to try. You're the only one who can save us.
Mm-hmm.
If that changes him, cool. But I don't know what we would change him to.
That's what I'm afraid of.
It's kind of what you're saying, that. So I don't think we should, right? I don't.
Right. After this, I don't think it ends. Spoiler alert, at least in my opinion. I don't think this ends the storyline with Moxley and the BCC and all that with Orange Cassidy. I think we're going to get multiple chapters. But if his story ends with the Blackpool Combat Club, what is he? Because he needs something, because what got him over was fine with me. So it'll be interesting to see post pay-per-view where we go with this character.
You know what else is interesting to see is fuck your mama 2 times in the chat. He says, what the blood clot? You guys are streaming at 4:30 Eastern. Is this a dream, or is this the weed brownie kicking in? Yeah, sorry if you're just tuning in. This is, if you're listening back on the podcast, this might be boring, but that's, the punishment you get for not catching us live. Sometimes we do this live. We do it live each week. It's normally Thursdays at 7 something ish, Central, U.S. Central Time, the one true time zone. Do your research. And, fuck your mom 2 times, it's Halloween, right? Tom's dog is going to go crazy once these little kids try to get their grubby hands on his delicious candy, and it's going to interrupt the show. And we thought that would be a disservice to you. So even if you couldn't join live, it would be a smoother listening experience for you. We do this for you. We do all of this for you.
Yep.
Not just fuck your mama 2 times, but you listening to the sound of my voice.
Yeah,
primarily, mostly fuck your mama 2 times, but others too.
Hey, so we ended Orange Cassidy's promo with another thing that was orange, Adam Cole, because he looked fucking horrendous. What the fuck? Look, if you get all this money from Turner, someone's got to fucking do tanning better, because MJF, Adam Cole, you got some of the women that I won't mention also going to look a little bit off-colored. We fix this, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm by no means a complexion expert. You know what I mean? The Western European, or Eastern European, excuse me. Eastern European.
You can see with your eyes.
Like,
you can see with your eyes.
I'm saying I'm not one to talk about having great looking complexion, but I also don't try to just go get a bad spray tan instead, right? So it's interesting. Yeah.
And
it's a bad look though. I agree. I don't think we could offer the we couldn't say, for every bad spray tan that we see in AW, here's some good ones. No, they're pretty much all bad.
All bad. It's as if they all just rolled down a hill that was covered in spray tan. That's what it looks like. But Adam Cole's out here. And this is one thing I also want to mention. Adam Cole did an interview with Sports Illustrated where he talked about, like, he hears that he gets body shamed, and then that doesn't make him feel great. And I understand. Look, no one wants to get body shamed. It sucks.
Some people want to, but that's between consenting adults.
Yeah. However, let's hide the negatives then, right? We don't have to be in our underwear, because
Sting
the guy
used to wrestle on a shirt for several decades.
Yes, because he had some self-respect, and he knew, like, this isn't going to be great for everyone. Yeah, it's good enough for you, Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the guy he takes on here in the opening contest, Buddy Matthews, he's in like jorts, right? Like, and he looks way better than you, Adam Cole.
But he also looks like you took an action figure and gave it to life, like it was the movie Ted, right? It looks not real, right? It looks like, it's like, how did you change directions? But like the angle, the vision I have of your abs didn't change. I still see like all 6 abs, and you're standing sideways. That's weird.
But then he even is like, hey, maybe it is weird, so I'll wear pants. And so I'm telling to Adam Cole, maybe wear pants. That's all. Wear pants. Don't wear underwear. And then maybe less people will talk about your body. But here we go. We get an opening contest, and this is weird, man. This is really weird. So what's going on with the House of Black? Here we have Buddy Matthews at the start of the match, essentially saying, I'm not going to go after the ankle, right? I'm a man of integrity, which didn't know that was a thing with the House of Black.
Yeah.
And then he starts to go after the ankle. And then Adam Cole is just like, I guess I'll quit. Which, okay. And gets to walk off. And then Buddy Matthews now is a bad guy, I guess, and says, like, you're fragile. And so then Adam Cole goes back in, gives him a little, how's your father? Beats him. And then he's like, shake my hand. And Buddy Matthews is like, yeah. What the fuck?
I thought it was all weird. And this is one of the ones I was discussing earlier where I think like, you know, like we're trying on this one, but I don't know what we're doing. The House of Black is all fucked up now. Are they spooky guys that are going to potentially drag me to the forest and I'll never be seen from again unless I'm like part of their skull necklaces? Or are they just a goth club that like has integrity? What the fuck is that?
Because here's the other thing to keep in mind with this is Buddy Matthews shakes the hand of Adam Cole. Now we'll get to the second half here, but stay with me for right now. He shakes the hand of Adam Cole. Go back to the last prominent match that Brody King has, and he's shaking the hand of Darby Allin. So are we just like lovable losers that just good effort, pal, way to go, sport, and then walks off? Makes no sense. So I get this one though. We do a handshake because then spooky lights and so then gets ready for Halloween a night too early. Malachi Black then has the handshake. And that's it. We don't spit mist in his face. We don't jump him because it's 2-on-1. We just go, wasn't that fun? Cool trick.
Yeah, I like even that. Okay, so the lights go out. Now suddenly it's a different guy I'm shaking hands with, but the other guy is just kind of standing to the other side, and he's not like, he's just indifferent. He wasn't like weirded out. He wasn't like, yeah, what now? Right? Like he was just like, oh, yeah, the old switcheroo. I forgot we were doing that. What the fuck was this? Yeah, I thought it was really, the House of Black. Again, I'm not a fan of the supernatural stuff. We're not a fan of sci-fi stuff. I think we've discussed, right? Like it's not our thing, but you know, I get a lot of people are. I get a lot of people are into the like, I'm dark and twisted, and you know what I mean? Like I'm, you know, near satanic and that kind of stuff. So I know there's a demo that this reaches to, but we got to lean into it, right?
You can't half measures suck in life.
Yeah.
You should never do anything half-ass. You know, two of the things that I hate the most, mimes and half measures. Like you got to go all the way in on how to do this shit.
I saw a video where people are more scared to be touching the boogeyman's face than they are the House of Black in storyline. You know what I mean? Like this is not the same.
Not good.
I don't know.
Not good at all. But we get him shaking hands, and like I said, that's it, I guess. We quickly go backstage. Don't want to spend too much time on it because we will get to the match. But Chris Daniels talking to Private Party is like, hey man, when the EVPs beat us, me and Frankie Kazarian, we were never the same again. He's not even in this company. Watch out, fellas. And they're like, we good. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, we'll get to the match and all that stuff. But then we go backstage with Adam Cole, who now all of a sudden doesn't look orange. Now he looks appropriately complected, right? Like
whoever was working that room was like, lighting is off. We need makeup, smear that.
Take all this bullshit off your arms. Take this off your hands. This is stupid.
Yep.
And this then turns into okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it out. Tom.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So Adam Cole.
They took off the pumpkin spice, says the Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast.
Yeah, must have, right? Because Adam Cole is backstage with the Undisputed Kingdom, and he says
the Wardlow-less Undisputed.
Yeah, because knee injury. Because I think they have said that, right? But he says, Adam Cole, that is, hey, Malachi Black, I know what you did, but let's talk about the elephant in the room, MJF. Okay, which I get, right? Because that's the focus.
But is
MJF.
that the elephant in the room, or is it the spooky guy who appeared out of nowhere and changed places with the guy who you were shaking hands with? That seems to be, that would be arresting more of my attention.
Yes,
in my life.
I agree.
But okay, all right. Okay.
Yes, but he says, "Hey, MJF, let's not pretend that you wouldn't have done it." Which, okay, like the turning thing, we're still trying to make justification for.
Albeit, I wouldn't hate if we get Adam Cole spirals into like, no, like, right? MJF would have just done it to me, right? And everybody's like, yeah. And he's like, no, you believe me, right? And they're like, sure.
It'd be more interesting than this.
Yeah,
because it'd be more interesting than this. Because essentially, then he just takes a pivot and he's like, AEW. Like, it doesn't say go AEW, but that's essentially the tone of like, AEW, MJF, you're not that. And here's the thing that also, the cherry on top, as they would say, that didn't make any fucking sense, is then he's like, at Full Gear, I'm going to fight you, or maybe we're going to fight you. Because remember, Roderick Strong and him have like an arms race or a match race to get to MJF.
Yeah. Something about this whole segment, the match, the segment, this storyline, it all feels not well coordinated and thought out.
Well, why is Roderick Strong fine with, hey, you're one up on me, didn't get a match this week, sure hope I get one soon?
So that's what we need to do, I think. I wouldn't hate if this storyline took this turn also. 1, 2, 2. Adam Cole's like, all right, tonight, I'm going to get my third win. And he's about to until old Roddy the Body comes in and does the fucking ovarian delight and was like, not tonight. And then he gets a match, and then Adam Cole comes out. It's like, ugh. And then now they're both struggling to get to 3 because they're both fucking at odds with each other, ruin each other's matches. I'm going to wrestle.
I think we're going to get a triple threat. And I think that's where Undisputed Kingdom turns on Adam Cole, MJF, peeking behind the curtain of things that I've seen on the internet, which it's always true.
Yeah.
Maybe he's then going back to shooting movies. So it's like we're doing a little cup of coffee and then going back out there to finish Happy Gilmore or whatever. Look at that. Yeah.
Mall Cop 4 or whatever.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're going to do. But again, let's go back into kayfabe. Logistically and moralistically, if you hate a guy and your friend hates the guy, you're not going to be happy that your friend is now one up closer to the guy you want to actually kill or whatever. You know what I mean? So F. It's just an F. F all around. Just shit.
F that.
F that. F the grade. Yeah. It's all bad. Then we get into something
and
that
stop spray tanning with pumpkin spice.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Put on some pants. Put on some pants. You got the legs of a 12-year-old. Like, put on some fucking pants. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah.
We don't all have to wear underwear when we're in front of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, over the 11 years I've been podcasting with Tom, though, like the range of, he probably would have been encouraging you to take off your pants when we first started the podcast. And nowadays he's encouraging for us, put some pants on.
Well, look, hey,
I will say this is growth.
No, I still am in favor of a bottomless party. More people need to do bottomless parties instead of this, like, oh, take your tops off, take your pants off, huh? Let's be real about this shit and see who's really wanting to party or not. You know what I mean? I ain't done with this. Everyone's got nipples. Let's see what's happening, huh?
So I mean, no, tell me more about this party though. What happens here? And
It's called the Winnie the Pooh party. You take off your pants, you walk around with your shirt on or whatever it is, and then that's how you're partying. You're going around and you're like, hey, this is what's up.
Who's
ready to hang out?
And I'm down. And I'm saying is, I've heard this a bunch from you. Yet to see an invite. I haven't got the invitation. Don't have the Facebook invite. I'm waiting, Tom.
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's a lot of logistics here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, there's the dogs.
Two
different states.
Yeah.
You got the dogs
podcast.
Here. Podcasting. Yeah, I got a podcast, right? Like, you can't take me away from that.
Yeah.
We had
and Halloween.
Today's Halloween, you know.
Yeah, that's true. The party would spill outside, and then the neighbors would be like, "God damn, another one of their Winnie the Pooh parties over there."
Yeah, I feel inadequate. God damn it!
Jesus
Now I'm not
Christ.
calling to work tomorrow because of depression. Yeah, so you know, and it's not even like that. It's just like it's having fun. You know what I mean? Hey, yeah, bottomless parties.
Oh yeah, we're just we're all just hanging out. You know, maybe a few high fives, but like
high fives, low fives, whatever kind of five you want. You know what I mean? Hey, let's talk about another fun thing.
I don't think I do know what you mean, but yeah, let's go.
Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher. Here we go. Kyle Fletcher says, "Hey, how about that Will Ospreay come out here and let's talk this out." Nothing happens. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Isn't that how it goes? And then, oh shit, something that other people realize that I didn't. Aussie Open's music hits because everyone remembers their music. And Mark Davis walks down. Here we go. We haven't seen him in feels like a year.
It looks like they woke him up from sleeping on the back of a fucking public bus. Like, what?
Yeah.
This guy...
Not the most TV ready. This is one of those ones where you're like, hey, you know, you're going to be in front of people, right? And you're like, yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if I was in sweats?
Well, this wasn't like the broken down homeless Mark Davis story, right? Like, why does he look like this?
Yeah. He wasn't like, hey, I'm back because I got to earn a paycheck because Pappy needs a procedure.
Yeah, you sold my, you know what I mean? You sold my rights out or something. This isn't like Shawn Michaels indebted to JBL here. Like, what is going on? Yeah, I don't know.
So Mark Davis comes out here and he goes, hey, man, let's be honest. Will Ospreay, he's for us. Don Callis, he isn't. What the fuck?
Yeah, why'd you do
that? And then
fuck a family, we had an empire, right? Which was good.
Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah, we didn't because Kyle Fletcher says, come to the family.
Got you a spot. I thought about you. Yeah, which is a lie. Yeah, and Mark, fucking lie, Tom.
Yeah, well, Mark Davis says, like you said, we don't need a family. We had an empire. And then essentially what we got next is Kyle Fletcher saying like, hey, there's going to be a time when you need to make a really hard decision. And I just want to let you know, as you've seen, I will cut people off from my past.
Do that. Yeah. He's like, I can make that decision. Albeit I do like that Shivani just kind of shit. I was like, didn't he just make his decision? Like, didn't he just?
Yeah. Like he made his decision. Yeah. Yeah, he did, right? Like he said no.
Yeah,
and I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Yeah, so I thought this was fine. Again, Kyle Fletcher's not bad, right? I think, believable, angry, dude who looks like he's got something to get off his, like a chip on his shoulder, right? Something to get off his chest, and believable heel that way. And Don Callis is good here. I know there's a story there with Mark Davis and the Empire. I know that's all for all the people who knew prior to AEW starting, I guess, right? Because we haven't been told that story a whole lot on AEW TV.
I agree. To be myopic, one thing that's just funny to me is when Australians are arguing, just their accents are just...
I might. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so cute. It's like you're realizing I'm really mad at each other.
By the way, rewind, when I did my great British accent and we said, where is Ash? To grade this, he on the side informed me that my accent was indeed awful. He said it was awful. And I said, well, I'm probably far too esteemed to pull it off correctly, and he said, no, I want this removed from the internet, please. So we might have to go back and take that down. Maybe I'll stay away from the Australian accents as well.
Yeah, because it's just so cute when they do it. Because it's like, what are you guys doing? I feel like they're about to have a tickle party, right? Like they're just like, they're gonna tickle each other, like they're really not mad.
Go wrestle with a kangaroo out here, right? Yeah,
exactly. Also, Kyle Fletcher I said this on Threads when I made this post, but he kind of looks like the bad guy in a Guy Ritchie film, doesn't he? Like he looks like he's about to beat up Brad Pitt in a boxing.
That's what I'm saying. Something. Like the new look, the attitude, the manager, it's all fitting well. It's good. Mark Davis thing again, we haven't been told that story a whole lot on AEW TV, so it's fine. You got to go through it. The Will Ospreay thing, I don't feel like he's getting one over ultimately on Will Ospreay, so I kind of just wanted to be done with that and have Kyle Fletcher start doing whatever Kyle Fletcher's going to do, right?
Yeah, I agree. Or maybe he does. Kyle and Will are really good friends. So maybe
True.
like backstage, he's like, no, go ahead, beat me. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Fucking,
All right, let's get into
the Kansas City cunt punt and pin me right in the middle.
That's how you do it. Let's get to the most interesting person in all of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you know, it's a consensus. The best wrestler in the world, Tony Storm. But the most interesting wrestler, Hangman Adam Page. Oh boy, dude, we got a lot to unpack here. So he's standing there wide-eyed and pissed off, and he's talking about Jay White, and he's like, hey, I beat you in the One Heart tournament. Now you could say Christian helped you, but who the fuck cares? You do have a 4-1 record. Awesome. But when you came back, you were looking for a redemption. And then he says, you want to offer. Oh, no. He says, and then you beat me fair and square. And then he goes, now you want to offer me redemption? And he goes, there's no such thing as redemption, which Tim, let's just stop there real quick.
His like,
hold on. Yeah. Do you think that line is more layered than what it's saying? Because the way I went with it, and I want your feedback on this, when he said, you want to offer me redemption, there's no such thing as redemption. Not for you, not for me. You think he was talking about Swerve? You think he was saying, like, after I beat the fuck out of Swerve, I realized, like, it still did nothing for me.
I'm going to beat your ass and I'm going to steal your weed. What?
That's probably what he was thinking. No, I did love the line, and he even went a little further, even beyond that, and said kind of, I think, dug a little deeper into what he meant by it. If I recall correctly, I remember hearing it being like, I mean, goddamn, we're getting philosophical, Hangman, and yeah, like,
yeah.
It was
so
like
he says,
yeah,
he says, there's only the wins and the losses and the consequences that follow.
Consequences that follow. That's kind of it. It's like, I mean, you can say it's redemption, but it's just you're just now choosing to do evil. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Like there's no redemption here. It's just are you gonna be able to live with what you fucking do? Like, it's kind of what I was taking from him, and he's kind of like, because that's all we've got left now, right? It's all we've got now is just, can we, you know what I mean? Can you stomach this?
Yeah.
Can you do this?
I think we're still, again, the arc of Hangman getting back to the bright side, I still think goes through Swerve somehow, teaming up or something. That line just made me think, when we saw him at the end of the pay-per-view, where he almost went back to go after Swerve and then realized, like, no, and went back. That's where it made me go to, like, oh, he wanted redemption and realized it was a hollow feeling. And even when he was going to, he knew it would do nothing still. And now he's almost this, like, you know, when in movies, when people are like, kill me if you're going to kill me, right? When they put the gun in, like, you don't have the, like, those kind of people.
Like self-sabotage folks here.
Yeah. They're just like, he's just like, do whatever you want to me. Kind of like a Jack Perry, where Jack Perry puts his arms up. And he's like, do it if you got to do it, homie, but I don't give a shit. It's a little bit of that feeling. I don't know what that feeling is, because I'm not smart enough to know what that word is. But then he says, because at Full Gear, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to stand over you. And what will you do? You know, what will I do? I might even burn your house down. And everyone in the crowd is like, ooh, you know. Hangman is the coolest fucking guy in professional wrestling.
Yeah, he's nuts. I love it. And yeah, he's allowed to just be crazy right now. And we kind of, it's not, I'm crazy because this, right? It's just, I'm crazy. And we're left to be like, what is driving this weirdo for in his path of destruction? I mean, we know some of the things, but like, just when we think we know, he, you know what I mean? He drops something that just is, that's kind of what I was getting. I think you're right in that he's lost in this, like, it's an empty feeling. And I think it's just that, where he's kind of like, that's what he was sharing with Jay White. Like, there's no redemption here. This is just, we've all got here by, this is what we do now, right? Like, this is who we are. Yeah. This is what we're going to do. Right. And like, I think he's in that, it's you or me now. And so, like, I can't, I've already made these choices. There's no going back now. Right. Like, what, if I burn a house down, what am I going to schoolboy this guy? Right?
Well, yeah, not to get philosophical and like sit down for like therapy session, but it almost feels like where anger is the only thing that makes him feel anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't feel that happiness is a void emotion in his day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that gets him out of bed, the only thing that can make him put on his cowboy boots is I'm going to fuck someone up. And guess who it is today? Jay White. Like, because that redemption didn't fulfill him, right? He was not, because I believe going into that match, remember when we said Hangman did nothing wrong? And he did, right? Hangman did nothing wrong. But going into that match, again, getting into the character's head, he, I believe, was thinking, I'm going to beat the fuck out of Swerve. I'm going to take him to the brink of death, make him feel what I felt when he went after my family, and then I'm good. Like that will then get me out of this mind fuck that I'm in. But then when he went through it and fucking bashed him in the head with the chair and all that, it didn't go away.
Yeah.
Like the feeling was still there.
Well, so here's the thing. It didn't go away.
Oh.
Now I have that torment, but I also have the torment of like, I did that too. Like, now now it's double down.
Well, yeah. And maybe he's now trying to explain himself away by saying like, look, hey, there's nothing. It's just wins and losses, and we make our actions and we keep moving forward. Like he's almost maybe trying to explain away his own actions. Like, hey, I burned his house down because obviously look what he did to me. So I've got to do that to him, like.
Yeah, maybe it's his way of saying like, hey, we take this as far as you want.
Well, that's what I kind of felt like he threatened.
Yeah, you know where I'm going.
That's what I felt like he threatened at the end. He's like, hey, Jay White, we can do all your finger gun bullshit you want. I got real guns and I got a fucking real fire that will take your house down. Here's the last thing I'll say before we get into the best segment of the night. AEW. I know everyone's talking about like attendance and is it cold and all this, which you're just dumb as shit if you believe that. But I do believe AEW is at its absolute best when Hangman is the main character. When he is the person that everything revolves around, he's the best. I like when that is the case. MJF is a close second. MJF also has a lot to offer as far as, what he can present as far as origin character or anything where it comes into like, being a good guy going to a bad guy. But it's the best. It's the absolute best when Hangman is that main event person. That's my opinion.
I like it. I mean, he offers a depth that I think that isn't there in a whole lot of other characters, right? This Moxley storyline has got some depth to it, but the Moxley, characters alone. Yeah.
And that's what I said. MJF has a good origin story and he can also build things around him that makes it interesting, but AEW's at its apex with Hangman as its main character. But the current main character, as it feels to me, is Jon Moxley. He's a champion and he has the main event storyline. So that's why I think he's the main character right now. He comes to the ring in like this cool, kind of like you said, that natural born killers, Woody Harrelson, like it's red lights behind us. Isn't this fucking spooky? Yeah, we're gonna fucking pillage this arena. Like, they're walking all this stuff. Marina Shafir still, God bless her, just Marina Shafir. And Pac.
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah, she's there. She's a warm body. Pac still in full gear, which by the way, any new timers, not old timers, but new timers to this AEW promotion, the origin of full gear comes from being the elite and Hangman always showing up in his full gear to places that they were going. That's the origin of this pay-per-view name, is he was showing up in full gear. Nice. He was always up in his cowboy and chaps and all that. Anyhow, Pac also in full gear. So Moxley makes his way to the ring, and I love what he does here. He says, Orange Cassidy, you fucking piece of shit. You're not challenging me. I've been challenging you this entire time, asshole. Again, I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, when I took your friend Chuck Taylor, I knew that like this was going to be the outcome. So you don't get to challenge me. I'm challenging you, which is, again, just a power play, right? Just like a
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Can't fire me. I
talks about-
quit.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And here's the interesting part. Tell me what you think of this. So he talks about, hey, I freed you from distractions so you could focus on your goals. He's like, I'm gonna take you to the valley. I'll die in the valley, but you won't, right? Like, because you're still chained to all these things. And then he takes Yuta and he puts him down on the ground, and they put his head in the chair, which then again, because we do have AEW history of this, Orange Cassidy was his trainer, was a best friend, comes in, tries to take all of them on. Claudio, Pac, Moxley are beating him up. But Marina Shafir, to her credit, has Yuta in the corner and is like smacking his face, where it was like, get it to fucking together. All right. Like, what do you think you're doing? Crying because you're going to get hurt? Yeah. Bitch. Now go beat up Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you think this was Yuta baiting Orange Cassidy in, or do you think this was Moxley? I'll sacrifice one of my own members because I don't give a fuck.
Because Yuta didn't instantly go, ha, right? And he had to have that, like, Marina, like, either telling him, like, you think that was it? Like, you better go do this now or else you're going to get more of the same, right? Like, it could have been that, too. I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I like it. I want it more to be that Yuta wasn't baiting him in, right? Like, he's sitting there, he's still uncomfortable about what's going on, but he's like, got to do what I got to do. And then they're like, and then let me show you what's going to happen. He's just like, fuck, what? No, not me. Run that back a couple times probably before we really break out of this. But yeah, I like the Yuta torn and kind of being used and a guinea pig and all this sort of thing.
He is, because the reason I asked you that is when this was happening, and then later on in the night, as we were continuing to watch Dynamite, people were like, oh, Yuta baited him in. I was like, I don't think Yuta was a part of this plan either. Just like the Danielson thing, I don't think anyone's smartened him up to what we're going to do tonight, Yep. So this gets fun, right? So then Orange Cassidy, they're fighting all the stuff. Then Pac puts Orange Cassidy's head into a steel chair, and here's the returning Darby Allin pulling off his best sting, falling down from the rafters, grabs up on old Claudio, and then they start brawling. How did you feel about Darby coming back in this fashion, in this regard, in this manner?
Yeah, I don't. It was weird to me. Okay, like him just dangling from at first I didn't catch what it was right away. I thought we had a doll hanging, right? Like getting dropped in, and then it's him. Then he's hooked at that thing for a while he's still fighting, which of course is good, right? You don't want to pause everything and unhook, but I just don't think we need to do it. Because again, I got to put myself in. It's not real, right? But if I'm watching what's supposed to be quote unquote real, that's a risk you're taking, that like, okay, now I just grab you by your little rope and I'm flinging you around and like I might choke you with it, and like you can't chase me around the thing without getting tangled up. Like, it's just weird. Just have him run out from the back or out of the crowd. I don't know what this is for. Like, I know we want him to be as much like Sting, I guess, as we can, but
well, and that was his mentor, so it makes sense that he would do the spot.
Sure.
Again, in kayfabe. I thought the spot was wasted. I thought because we had Darby not on television since the last pay-per-view when he watched what happened to Danielson, right? I felt, let's fast forward to Full Gear, and I think we both can agree Moxley's most likely going to win that match, right? Moxley wins the match over Orange Cassidy. Well, motherfucker, guess what? You wanted to challenge me? We're going to do Bryan Danielson to you. And then at the pay-per-view, you take Darby Allin, because this was just like a brawl. And like 2 seconds later, the EVPs are walking down. So it's like that kind of got lost in the shuffle, I thought.
So the Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast said, honestly, we thought it was Yuta being sacrificed. And here's the thing that, speaking of podcasts, Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast does a great podcast. We do a great podcast. I was listening to our friends at the Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out podcast, and they brought up Moxley is the champion. We don't see that title. I think we've alluded to it's around, right? They've got it.
It's in the briefcase.
Yeah, but that's on purpose, right? That's a small detail here, but that's for a reason, right? What's up with that?
I think when
he's not even like, I'm AEW champion John Moxley either.
It's a
just
power.
like it's there. It's
because it's a power. That's a prop. This is the power that comes with it. Now, I don't know where we're actually going because obviously Tony Khan didn't call me, dumbass. But I think
we get a new belt.
Something like that. I think this is when he's like, now that my plan has been fulfilled, this is the new image of what AEW will be like. And then it is some type of,
we get Jeff Hardy to make a belt and we,
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
all right,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah. The other thing with Darby that if you could practice this out in real life, that I think would have been cooler. This is how I would have done it. Because again, Darby comes down, then you get Private Party, then you get Leo Rush, then you get Top Flight, then you get Dark Order. They're all running. They run off EVP or they run off the BCC, right? This is how I would have done it if I got the pin, right? My baseball pin. Look at this. Got a new baseball pin right there.
Nice.
Yeah. This is how you do it. This is how you do it to create an AEW moment. As I mentioned, you have John Moxley, you have Orange Cassidy. John Moxley wins. He isn't satisfied. He's going to fucking make blood come out of Orange Cassidy and he's going to kill him, right? This is what I would have done. So they're all beating him on, beating him up. You do have the Private Party, Dark Orders of the world chase off the rest of them, except for John Moxley. John Moxley's like, no. Now that they're all gone, I can really just do this by myself. That's then when Darby Allin comes down from the rafters. But then this is the part you do. Because like you said, I could just grab your fucking cord. You have him pull. Remember when Sting did this to Diamond Dallas Page on the outside?
Or they
come down,
take
that motherfucker back up. That's how you end the fucking pay-per-view. You know? That's how you do it. That's a fucking
so you have him lurking, right? And then he drops down and then Moxley's like, you son of a bitch.
And then just fucking bear hugs him and then
I would even have an overhead shot of Moxley looking up like, you motherfucker. You son of a bitch.
Wait a minute. No. I'm saying he grabs John Moxley.
Oh, just grabs him and takes him up with him?
Yeah, grabs him and then is like,
I thought you meant just escapes the grasp. No, you're saying
no. Yeah,
okay.
He comes down.
So now
John
we don't
Moxley's
know what happens to John Moxley,
right?
Like that.
And Darby Allin can have a week of, because again, one of the things that made early NWO great is that there were moments of WCW actually might get this right. Remember when Lex Luger beat Hulk Hogan for the championship, but then a week later he won it right back, right? Those little moments. That's where, again, if you end the pay-per-view with Darby Allin bear hugging John Moxley, they go up, then you kick off Dynamite with, not kick off, but have Dynamite with Darby Allin going like, got rid of those motherfuckers. They're done. I'm here to restore order to AEW. And then finding a way to, Moxley comes back. It's like, I am not dead yet. You got to do way more than spooky Sting shit to get rid of me. And then we get the fucking party back on track, right? That's what, man, I'm so good. I'm fucking awesome. It's just, I'm not good at a lot of things. I'm good at this.
I mean, to sound
shit.
conceited, but I'm just really
I just,
good.
Hey, look,
I'm just really...
sun comes out in July. I'm good at this shit. We all know the facts.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite little cherry on top with this segment. And so we get all this bullshit, right? And we get Top Flight and Dark Order, and they're fighting the BCC. And then all of a sudden, you just hear the music of the EVPs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, hey, how are we doing, huh?
Yeah,
we doing good? What's happening here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite part. Yeah.
Yeah, which again, and it's funny because of the timing, because like everybody's been waiting for you to get involved in this. And so your music hits, and we're like, "Oh, you're gonna do something now?" And they're like, "No, we got a match. You guys are here. We thought that was after you go in, the champs come in.
This is the cue. Hey, yeah. I thought that was my favorite part. Is just they're like, good. Hey,
yeah. Well, more on them later, though. But yeah.
Yeah. So we get the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, and we don't need to go into the I guess you could say move by move, but we get some back and forth spots. We get the Gin and Juice Private Party after losing at I think it was the 5-year anniversary show, and then at Wrestle Dream. And then even the 6-man last week ends up beating the EVPs this week. How'd you feel about this? The crowd, I will say, did go nuts for it. When they won the tag team championships, crowd was
I think
great.
a lot of this was done really well. So we've talked a lot about this style of wrestling and what we think about it. And I've always said the timing's got to be crisp. And they did that really well here, especially in some of these bigger spots at the end. I thought they set the stage great to make you believe they were going the other way. So due to one of Private Party's problems, we're now dragging the other one who's dead to the world out to the ring and can no longer help. And now we're going to beat this one up. And now this one keeps fighting out of it, right? And so, like, in my mind, I'm like, at some point he's not going to be able to make it. And then they're going to be broken up and he's going to be like, I was knocked out. And he's going to be like, you're right, you were fucking knocked out, right? And he'll be like, oh, you couldn't hang on? And be like, bitch, I hang on, right? Like, I thought they were going to go that route. And so it kind of swerved me that they actually had him win. I really thought we were pulling the trigger and ending Private Party here. So I was kind of surprised.
Yeah. I put on threads. I liked my post here where I said Private Party had a party for all as their new tag team champions. Yeah, look at that. That's fun. I took a writing class once or twice.
Yeah.
I like it. Pat myself on the back.
Most of us passed it the first time, but yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, that is interesting with Private Party as your tag champs is with the EVPs, they can bring anyone up to that level of main event kind of, we can main event a show with Young Bucks or EVPs, whatever you want to call them, versus other team. Private Party is not that. So tag team division is still kind of lukewarm, right?
Yep.
Do we do? Because, okay, hold on. Let me try to say this out. Kind of what I'm thinking here is, so Private Party is babyface and they're great. But we got this other babyface, awesome, selling more merch than anyone else, Outrunners. Do we say Private Party gets conceded because look at who we beat? We're the fucking best. That turns them heel. We go Outrunners over, because Private Party, I don't think is going to have a EVPs type run with the belts and have them for a year.
No, a couple months here tops. Yeah.
So they're baby faces right now. The only other team that is in contention, if you don't count FTR, which is kind of always there, would be the Outrunners. And so or do we have here you go. Or do you say FTR turns on Outrunners? We're tired of this playground bullshit, superhero things. We're a real tag team. And then they go after Private Party. And now we've got Private Party going, fuck, now we got to beat these guys next, you know?
So, yeah, that's what you do. You have FTR turn on the Outrunners. And then FTR is like, you guys suck. And immediately is like, and these new champs, you know? Again, no flips, just fists, man. This is wrestling. And they go after him. And now the reason they can't beat Private Party is because the Outrunners are still like, fuck you.
Yeah.
All my balls and all that kind of stuff. And then they're distracted. Private Party gets the win. And they're like, we're done with you. So now we got one out of the way for Private Party, right? But then
it's just the team that feels like is on deck, stealing a baseball reference, is the Outrunners, but then you would do baby faces versus baby faces, and I don't know how that would mesh well because neither one are also at main event level.
So you could still do the Private Party split. Everybody thinks you're not. They're the champs. One of them's getting a big head, causing them to get into fights they shouldn't. I love the Outrunners, right? And then they lose, and now they're like, what the fuck? And they cut her or whatever, and we're done.
Because Tim, you know who we haven't mentioned throughout this entire Private Party conversation?
Big Stoke.
He's the one that could be like, hey, Zay, if you got rid of these tag team title things, I could get him.
You had to fight them yourself. Yeah.
But like, if you get rid of all these tag team title bullshit, I can get you a TNT championship match, right? Like you can get some more fun stuff. If you get rid of this thing, that's how the Outrunners could become your champions. Oh, Tim, I booked it. Here's how you do it.
He could be like, look, I could get you a singles title. And now think about this. You got half the hotel costs. You got half the plane ride. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff. He's in Isaiah's head, right? He's like, you're banking all this money, dog.
Yep. Here's how you do it. Oh, I got it. I got it right here. Look at this. Private Party beats a couple teams, right? Let's just say it's Mike Bennett and the other guy from Undisputed. Boom, boom, boom. Outrunners, they win a couple things too. Hey, by Christopher Daniels' proclamation or whatever, the number one contenders are Outrunners at Big Name Dynamite. It is going to be Private Party versus the Outrunners. Outrunners like, oh brother, doing all that shit. FTR is like, hey, fucking cool. That's awesome. We are legit happy for you. We get to the match, right? That is when Stokely Hathaway's been planting these seeds in Zay's ear. Hey, you're better than this. Fucking get her out of this shit, right? Zay turns on Quinn, says, fuck you. I'm out. Outrunners win the championships. Oh my God, this is great. Isn't this so awesome? They go celebrating, right? So then Mark Quinn rolls out of the ring. You got all the 80s fun stuff just coming down from the rafters and
neon
Corvettes
everywhere.
and Xeon Firebirds and all this shit, right? And FTR is like, we are so happy for you. Whop, clothesline, get the fuck out of here, you playground wrestlers. And then for the championships, FTR bad guys, Outrunners good guys, Mark Quinn, Zay one-on-one with Stokely in that.
We get a colorful 80s versus a 80s.
We get the actual 80s wrestler versus the fake 80s wrestler. You know who the fake 80s wrestler was? FTR, because they really weren't that. They were more like the Outrunners. Okay. Chris Jericho talked. Then we go and we get the Young Bucks trying to leave because somehow
I was shredding documents.
Well, hold on. Before that, actually, I'm sorry. Let me back up a quick second. Daniel Garcia goes up to Jack Perry and is like, hey, you're next, right? Oh, your guys lost the tag titles. You're next. And they start to get kind of face to face, and Daniel Garcia puts him up against the wall. And Jack Perry goes, they dance for me too. Because of this thing. And then you had the,
it was a little weird to me, one, because it made Jack Perry look like he could just be manhandled very easily by Daniel Garcia, right?
Well,
he couldn't escape. He couldn't get out, right?
But I think he's doing that thing again where he's like, hit me with your finisher, because he's playing like the Joker mind games. Because right after he says they dance for me, Daniel Garcia kind of does this awkward, like, man, get out of here, man. Like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. That was, man, Jack Perry. Very interesting. What'd you think of this?
Very interesting character. I did like that. I think he said they used to dance for me too, and that's when he was like, "What the hell?" Quick, right? But there's something there, right? Which piqued my interest.
And it made sense that Daniel Garcia would get in Jack Perry's face. Hey, bitch, your best friends lost their titles. I'm gonna beat you for yours. Like, it made sense. The whole segment, loved it. But then Jack Perry, after getting pushed away from Daniel Garcia, and Daniel Garcia kind of walks off, Jack Perry opens the door to the EVPs. They're shredding documents. And they're packing up. Like, we got to
Cutler packing shit up. We haven't seen Cutler in I don't know how damn long.
Well, here's why. But they're packing stuff up, and we leave it there for a second because the only women's match of the night was a little bit too quick and not a lot happened.
Yeah, why was this so fast? What?
I get that hey, we're two hosses, we ain't coming here to feel each other out kind of thing. We're here to fuck people up.
This made me feel that we're just getting rid of Camille. This made me feel that, like, we're just gonna let CEO be her own and not have the bodyguard.
Okay, so Statlander beats Camille pretty quick, right? But this is what I don't
6
like.
6 minutes 29 seconds, so says WrestlingData.com.
Ugh. So Mercedes then hits Statlander in the back of the head with the championship, then tells Camille, like you said, Camille, go to the back. And then I guess I got to do this myself. Pause. No, the story was, you dummy, who's the strongest? And look here, stick figure, you ain't in that conversation.
You ain't going to win that.
well, you're not even in it. It's Camille.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in the feud. At least to my eyes, Statlander never was like, I want to be TBS champion. She was
it
like,
wasn't, I'm beating Mercedes Monet's ass. Now you got to get through Camille. It was never that. It was,
no.
You think you're the brick house.
No, I'm the shit.
Yeah. Right. I'm the bulldozer,
so
motherfucker. So let's go.
Right. And so then you got Mercedes. And then here's the thing, flat. This was flat to me. Mercedes then says, I did like the line of like, get to the back, right? Okay. It has a little MGF Wardlow feel to it, right? But then she's just like, I got to do it myself. And then we kind of, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, now cheer,
just,
right? It was
right,
weird.
or boo. Yeah, it was just.
Jim here in the chat says some people are saying Camilla just not clicking with Monet. You know, yeah, it doesn't feel like the same grouping, right? It doesn't feel like she belongs with the CEO. Like, if you're gonna go bodyguard for a CEO, then you're not a gladiator, right? Which is how she's kind of packaged and presented. So it's an odd pairing to begin with. I think you could do it, but we just never really told that story, right? It wasn't about, I need protection here, right, to keep people away from me. Mercedes Moné still thinks she can beat everybody up, right? It's not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's
the thing. Yeah. Well, can I tell you now? Anyone who's listened long enough knows that we don't like Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks the most in pro wrestling. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't look, we didn't like CM Punk a lot either, but he fit when he came to AEW, right? That storyline that he did with Eddie Kingston, the storyline that he did with MJF was spectacular. All about
CM
it.
Punk undid his own. Like, it was his personal.
But that was backstage. Yeah. But I'm saying on TV, we liked everything that we saw.
Character fit.
Yeah, it was great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, Mercedes legitimately feels like a WWE segment just happens to be in an AEW show. It just doesn't fit.
I see a lot of people saying that, like, well, that's the point. That's the character. And I'm like, okay, well, then it's not working. We got to stop.
That's what I mean. Like,
it's not going well. Yeah.
It just feels like NXT Sasha Banks happens to be wrestling in AEW.
That's true.
Okay.
Like NXT Sasha Banks. That's right.
I mean, right? Yeah. But here's the thing that doesn't
I don't know
work
if that's
in her favor.
I don't know if that's whoever's supposed to be saying, like, here, we're going to pit you against this, and here's the reason for the feud, or if that's just they're saying, what do you want to do here? And she's like, this? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, because the other secret to the Sasha Banks magic was that Bayley was opposite her. We don't have yet now we could, I think, if you really wanted Mercedes Moné to work, in my opinion, you already fucking ruined it. Because the person that opposites this Mercedes Moné character is Willow Nightingale. But we fucking went right into that and we're done with it.
So for this heel thing, though, I would lean more into this, right? If you got Camille, like, we need more. We need an entourage of people, right? Like, we need, you know, how a CEO that we think of has the yes men, right? We need, right? If we're going to say the CEO, let's do the CEO, right? Breezy Hack here says Monet needs something more for her size without having a bodyguard. It was cool, but you need the guard to turn on her. And even at that, I mean, that's the natural storyline for a bodyguard, but I don't care about Camille at this point. Not to say, you know, she's good at what she does. She's had a successful career, obviously, but like, I don't like, this has fell flat. I would, if we're going to say she's the CEO, I would lean into it. Make her delusional that she's like running things around here, right? As an executive assistant, right? You know, those kind of things. And let's build some storylines around that.
I would do one of two things. Either, if you recall, she did have this quick interaction with MVP, which we'll talk about later, as far as what happened with him. You could put her in that faction, right? The Hurt Syndicate, where, because again, one thing, side note, that I actually like about the BCC with Marina Shafir is it is a woman. Now, you're putting yourself in a dead end if the women can beat up the men, but then the men just go, can't do anything back. Don't ever do that. But men and women being in a group together makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So putting Mercedes in this Hurt Syndicate and then says, hey, if you want to talk to the CEO, my business is done through the MVP. And then MVP is like, what's up? You think you're getting a title shot?
Yeah.
The fuck
CEO's
you are,
time
you know?
is valuable, right? You can't. Yeah. Right.
And MVP is like, not that she can't talk because she can obviously talk, but like he's the one that does the business. Like, no. You think you're getting a title shot? Wrestle Camille 3 times in a row. If you beat her 3 times, then you can fight Mercedes at the next pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
You do that, or the other option, which is a little pseudo kind of what you were thinking maybe the BCC was. I would have Mercedes go, I signed on with this fucking company and this place sucks. Where's the catering like up north? Where's the this like up north? And just like, I came here. Where's all my things that I'm used to having? Where is my
trailer? Where is the
but have her say like it was at my previous job, or you could say up north, whatever.
She could always be like, look at the camera, be like, Tony, other places offer these benefits. Like, oh yeah.
So that's the 2 options that you could go.
Okay.
But I don't know. Again, she just feels out of place, but we move on. Mark Briscoe says next week, 6-man tag. Then who cares about this? It's the dumbest. Like, I love Mark Briscoe.
And again, how many times are we going to make him? Again, I don't blame him. How many times are we going to say, go out and defend your brother's honor? You only say so many things, right?
Yeah.
In that regard of, don't talk about my family, going to punch you in the nose. Like, that's all you can say.
Yeah.
So, like, what is he supposed to say?
That's the part where it's just like, okay, we're done. I don't care. But let's get back to some more fun.
Yes.
The Bucks are leaving. So they're going and they're running to their
skedaddling is the best way to put this. And
Marvez it is Christopher Daniels. He's like, hey, I can't fucking leave.
Well, it started with Marvez, right? Wasn't he like, why are you leaving? Get the fuck out of here. And Christopher Daniels then comes up and he's
and he's like, you can't leave. Like, this is your place. And he's like, we're working from home. I think that's what he said, right? Like, we're working from home. Oh, okay. And then they leave.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Cutler's like, guys, the tennis shoes. What about the tennis shoes? And he kind of drops it and says, oh man, guess they left without me again. And then behind him, here's the BCC.
The hyenas come. Oh.
And now him. What the fuck? Because we kept saying Moxley walked right through the EVPs, and the EVPs were like, hey, and Moxley didn't do a punk out the little brother thing. He just went like, you guys are cute.
Yeah.
And kept going. Now fucking, I guess our sights are set on taking them out.
Well, and they knew but here's what I think it is. I think this still goes. So Young Bucks lost the titles. They were seen shredding documents, gathering things, and saying, we're going to be gone for a while, out for a while. So Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, real life, look like they're getting a little break here. But I think the story is that the whole time, they've kind of been knowing what's coming. They've turned the blind eye and just kind of allowed it to happen. You know what I mean? Like, so I think what's going to happen is going to happen while they're gone. And then they're going to come back later, either after the thing's cleaned up or mid-thing, and people are going to be like, what the fuck, man? And they're going to be kind of persona non grata, right? Like, you just fucking bailed, you pussies.
Yeah. Or do they try to come back as the saviors? Hey, we're very sorry. We got sideways with how we wanted to run this company, but we're all good now. We're here to take on the BCC, right? Do they do that? Because they are a group that could easily super kick Moxley a couple times and now we all cheer him again, right? Like, it doesn't take much for them to get cheers again. But the shredding of the documents, what is that?
Yeah, what is that? And they knew. They didn't just, oops, we forgot Brandon. They knew what was going to happen to Brandon. They knew, like, it's kind of like we're leaving Jurassic Park as the dinosaurs are loose. Fuck Steve. You know what I mean? Like, Steve, you know what I mean? Steve couldn't make it. Like, sorry.
Yeah. Well, and it makes me go back to because something, like you said, something changed because they walked out whistling and snapping like they're fucking having the time of their life. as the BCC is doing all their shit.
Right. So what in that moment, what got told to them that they were like, we got to get the fuck out of here now, right now, and take the evidence with us?
Yeah. Or was it losing the championships? Because Jack Perry still has his championship, so it's not like they're all, and Okada also has his champion.
Yeah, they didn't take them with them. So what happened to those two guys?
Wait a minute. I'd have to rewatch. Did they take them?
I mean, unless Okada maybe was driving, but like,
yeah,
I didn't.
Ooh, where does Okada fall in this? And Jack Perry. Because he said, because going back to the Jack Perry, when he opens up the door, I think it was Matthew Jackson goes, we got some shit to tell you. And then he shuts the door.
Like, close the door. We go, now, right? They were in a rush.
And again, I don't have the best memory because I'm on a chemo pill, but I don't remember Okada was in there fucking shredding documents. It was just Cutler and the EVPs. And he's not an EVP. He's just part of the power.
I'm sadly realizing and coming to terms with the fact that we may never get our proposed I'm a dinosaur storyline. But if we can get our Brandon Cutler redemption storyline out of this sometime down the road.
Yeah. I still think that's the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's so ready. We all want to cheer this guy now. They put him through so much.
There's so many just little, like, it's like a piece of gum. Like you want another piece because they're not giving you everything, but they're giving you just enough to chew on to get you to the next piece. You know what I mean?
Once you pop, you can't stop. You know what I mean?
Man, that'd be a great slogan. Can that be the slogan for this show?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's used that, right?
No, it's what was that? The chips in the tennis ball cans was there.
I don't think that's a real thing.
The Pringles. That was their thing.
I don't know if that's a real product.
No,
could be just you hallucinating. Hey,
no, that's true. For any legal purposes, for any lawyers that may be reviewing our documentation later, that's true. I truly don't remember that actually. In my brain,
you smoke a lot of drugs, so brain not the best. And I take chemo
at one
pills,
time or like period.
Yes. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Time.
All right, yeah.
Swerve Strickland taking on Shelton Benjamin. And let's just get to the fun part, right? Swerve beats Shelton in a very fun match. Both guys look cool. There was at one point Shelton Benjamin like reversed like a submission hold that then had him like do a back suplex. Like it was a cool match, but Swerve wins.
Yeah,
right?
Shelton's also got this thing now where he like literally picks him up and just kind of like and just throws him and spins him at the same time. Just like, look what I can do at 75 years old. You can never.
So Swerve Strickland gets the victory. Awesome. Now, as soon as he wins, MVP gets on the phone and says, "Oh, we
the old
ready?"
BlackBerry.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, we ready?" And person on the other line, I guess, says, "Yeah, we ready." Lights flicker. Excalibur goes like, "Are we getting the House of Black? What the fuck is this about?" And then Swerve's looking around, and here it is, Franklin Lashley. And he goes, "I'm fucking here. Call me Bobby." And he's walking down.
Old Bob Lash.
Wouldn't that be funny? My name is Franklin Lashley, but call me Bobby. That's actually a fact. But Bobby Lashley's here. And he's walking down the ramp.
It should be Frank Lash. That should be his name.
Frank Lash. Yeah,
Frank
I
Lash.
like that. Oh man, if Bobby Lashley was like copywritten by WWE, that would be funny.
Frank Lash.
Frank Lash. But Bobby Lashley and Swerve Strickland come face to face, and they kind of look at each other sideways. Then Shelton Benjamin creates a little bit of a distraction. Swerve's like, "What the fuck you gonna do?" Turns around, Bobby Lashley Molly whops him right upside the head. And then MVP takes his cane and gives him a "How's your father" to Prince Nana. And then we end it with MVP getting on the mic and says, "Guess who's back in business?" And that's our episode.
Yeah. And Breezy Hack says Swerve Shelton match was great. I need to rewatch that match. And Jim says, yes, I love the main event. Big Bob. We could call him Big Bob. We have Big Bill and Big Bob. Yeah, the foam thing was weird, right? Because, like, but I guess that fits, right? You know, he was just like, all right, we weren't going to do it today. Calling an audible. I'm doing it now. And he's like, all right, fine. You know,
Well,
that's fine.
Yeah, because in kayfabe, you could hypothetically think that MVP tells Lashley, "Hey, if Shelton Benjamin wins, let's just get to the next town."
Yeah,
right.
Let's get out of here. It's fucking
But if
what town are we in here?
Yeah, the granddaddy of them all. But if things go,
the Burt L. and Iris S. Wolstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio, the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah, but if things go sideways, I'm going to give you a call. Be ready. And so he gives him a call. So I can kind of buy that a little bit, but continue.
Yeah. I was taken aback, and I think the Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast has started making me view wrestling through some of this lens. Bobby Lashley, the suit he was wearing was a purple leather suit, best way to describe this maybe. And I could only imagine the level of swamp ass from an outfit like that. Sounds like you creak when you walk by. I was like, man, that's a choice.
Yeah, wasn't that an SNL skit? Remember with I like leather, and it was remember that?
I mean, that's what leather does. I don't think I've seen that, but yeah,
it was an SNL skit.
Yeah. Now, okay, so the biggest kept secret has finally been revealed, right? Bobby Lashley is in AEW, and we're here. Yeah, I'm ready to see more of the. You know, it's obvious what the story is, right? It's Swerve and Bobby Lashley, but what and why, right? What and why?
Is it just Swerve and Bobby Lashley? Because I will direct your attention back to one Rick O'Shea, and he
Mr. Richard O'Shea
has some outstanding business with MVP and the rest of the individuals. Now he's got his own thing with Takeshita with the championship,
but there's actual history with this actual group.
And if you think Swerve 2-on-1 needs some help, here's how I could see it happening. I'm not saying this is how you book it, but I could see this happening in this way. You go to the next pay-per-view, Bobby Lashley versus Swerve Strickland. Shelton Benjamin grabs the foot of Swerve or distracts him or does something. Bobby Lashley gets the win. They put the boots to him, stand over him. Ha, ha, ha. Then earlier in the night or later in the night, Don Callis finds a way to keep Takeshita the champion. Ricochet's like, what the fuck was that? Then Swerve Strickland's like, hey, homie, I heard you got some business with MVP. Care to inform me on how to beat these assholes? And he's like, actually, I do. And then you do Swerve and Ricochet versus Shelton Benjamin and Bobby.
I mean, that's good. That's good. I like it. Yeah. And I like that they ended this show with, it wasn't just, and the main event storyline of Mox and now what's going on, right? There was this another big moment that everybody was kind of wondering what was going to happen. What are we going to do when it happens? So I like that they threw that in there and the placement of it. And yeah, I think we all knew the moment we saw MVP, we were like, Bob Lashley's back, right? Or he's coming with him. And it'll probably be some sort of version of this Hurt Business. And then when Shelton Benjamin, it was really solidified. So I really just been waiting for this to happen, I feel like. But not to say it didn't like underwhelm me a whole lot, right? It was just, I thought it was fine, right? It felt like a plot point though that I was waiting on, if that makes sense.
I would have ended the show with, if you had everything planned out and you just showed it to me, how would you end the show? I would have ended it with Private Party are your new champions, because then it's a more lasting image. That's the last thing you see. They were in the crowd celebrating. Everyone's happy.
You know, because then you could have even done the thing where the Young Bucks are then standing on the side and they're like, what the fuck, man? I can't believe we lost, whatever. And then Brandon Cutler's like, you know, tapping him on the shoulder and like, right? And they go running back there. And then we cut later to Jack Perry being like, what's up, guys? And they're like, get the fuck, let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave Brandon Cutler to get murdered. And that's the last thing you kind of see.
Yeah.
And Private Party still in the ring, oblivious to it all, having a party.
Exactly. You get the two moments, because you get the BCC might be going after the Elite, but then you also have the, hey, but the crowd's happy. Aren't you happy? private party.
Unbeknownst to everybody else who's celebrating. There's other tag teams and other friends are partying with them in the ring, right? Hoisting them up on the shoulders. Meanwhile, the people who supposedly run this place are hightailing the fuck out of here in fear and taking evidence with them.
Or destroying it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, let's check out some. Man, we got a lot of comments. Usually, I
was surprised with our early episode this week. We normally go a little later on Thursdays, but it's Halloween. We want to get it out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. Is Shane working with AEW or not? I would guess not. I think that's all some fun ha-has.
And if he were, I would say the better value would be having Shane McMahon working in an office somewhere, using connections in media, right? But even that I would advise against, right? We don't need him on camera for anything here. No.
I don't even think you need him in the business. I think it's just
but
it's just
who is Mox listening to, says Breezy Hack.
Nick Gage.
Nick
motherfucking Gage.
Yeah.
Which,
by the way, Domino's endorsement that we're going to set up.
Well, by the way, let's end it on this though. Moxley, let's break the fourth wall here and talk about just really quickly. Did you see how good of a guy he is?
Oh, no, what?
So he wrestles in GCW and Brett Lauderdale is like, hey, I know that your fee is X dollar, right? Come in, do your appearance, then let's wrestle Nick Gage. Moxley's like, yeah, sure. What's up? Let's do it. Does his first appearance. Now I'm paraphrasing something, so there might be some little details that I'm missing here, but essentially does his first appearance. Like, hey, that was fun. Remember when he did the thing and he DDT Gage, right? Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Then he does his thing. And then Moxley finds out, oh shit, I'm getting paid more than that guy, but everyone here came for that guy.
Oh,
so you should pay.
I did see this. Yeah.
You should pay us the same. And then Nick Gage kind of was always like, but then when Moxley was like, dude, you're a draw. He goes, okay.
I'm a draw.
So essentially Moxley got Nick Gage a raise and then confidence. Good
it's
on
crazy
him.
that Nick Gage wouldn't think he was a draw when I seen videos of some of the most hardened looking people in the world clawing to get to this guy like they were teenagers trying to get to the Beatles in the 60s. You know what I mean? Hugging this man, telling him they love him as he's just trying to go hit somebody with a light tube. You know what I mean?
He's just trying to murder someone.
He is a draw. All right. I don't know what this is, but it's hard to explain. But it's there. Yeah. Now again, Nick Gage is, sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees, right? As they say, but yeah, man. Yeah. Nick Gage has a draw on some folks for sure. Yeah. You were ready to run into the fucking night with him.
I still will. You act like that's not a thing I still will do. I will do that right now. If he called, I would end this podcast and run with him wherever he went. I don't think
he looked anywhere but that man's eyes until we left.
Yeah. There's certain individuals that just, they got the spell over you, and he's one.
I also love that we paid less than half price for that meet and greet because they were just like, hurry up, let's move this on.
Well, and they also did the bullshit thing of only taking cash, which is, it's 2024. Don't do that. Come on. Pay the processing fee, especially for Nick Gage, who has 95.
That's what it was. I think it was $25 a person, and we were like, "Oh, do you take a card?"
We got a 20
no, cash only. We were like, "We got a 20," and they're like, "Whatever."
Yeah, get out of here. All right, we got 2 pictures too.
20 and a couple of these Budweisers left.
Fine with me. But times. So that was AEW Dynamite. We got a lot of things to chew on, as I mentioned, and really great episode. I really like this.
I thought it was a damn decent episode. Again, I think there were some points where I, would have tinkered here and there, but all in all, we're doing good things and we're trying, right? They're trying some stories. Nothing's really necessarily throwaway. Some things they're not hitting home runs on, which I guess you can't blame them for that. I really am liking that. Again, we got some new folks in the chat. Hope you'll stick around. Join us next week and the weeks after that. You can hit us up through an email, aewrapup@gmail.com, right? So you can type one out, video, audio chats. You can send us those. Tom is threading during the events, usually all_elite_wrap up on the threads. AllEliteWrapUp.com gives you all the links you need. We're going to go ahead and get out of here so that Tom can go hand candy out to ungrateful kids. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead and candy out a bunch of kids and enjoy the holiday. And we will be back next week with some more All Elite Wrap Up.